Hey all, today we're going to talk about our hormone product, our testosterone product, FNG. We're going to go through the list of ingredients, what they do, why they're there. We'll start with D-aspartic acid. D-aspartic acid is an amino acid that's involved in the synthesis and release of testosterone via luteinizing hormone and follicular stimulating hormone. So it's very important, and there's clear proof that it's involved in this pathway, and so it's a no-brainer to add. The next is maca-root, which is interesting because it may increase testosterone. Studies show that, there's quite a few studies on it, and they don't quite know the mechanism of action. They think they do, but there's a couple interesting things about it. One interesting thing is that it can actually reduce antidepressant-induced sexual dysfunction in women. Now, if you remember when we showed the synapses with the dendrites, the electrical signal jumps along the myelin sheath, goes into the synapse, becomes a chemical signal. Those neurotransmitters get released into the synaptic cleft. And then some of them get taken up by the next synapse and turn into that electrical signal there. If they don't, they get taken back up by the synapse. And so some antidepressants, SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, they'll inhibit the reuptake of these serotonins by the first synapse. The problem with that is serotonin's the love hormone, but unfortunately, one of the side effects of it of SSRIs is reduced sexual interest in women, and then in men, a lot of times it'll be a reduction in the ability to finish sexually. And so, for some reason, especially in women, it works to fight against this, to reduce sexual dysfunction related to antidepressants. But the cool thing is that another cool thing about maca-root is that it's a new compound found in it that's got a similar moiety, or like a fragment of the molecule that's similar to the testosterone molecule, the human testosterone molecule. And so they think it may work by its action on the receptor. And so what is the testosterone molecule? Well, steroid hormones in general are 6, 6, 5 carbon structures. So this is the base. See if I can draw this. 6, 6, 5, or 6. And then can I do 5? This should actually be there, but this is the 6 carbon ring, 6 carbon ring, 6 carbon ring, 5 carbon ring. And there's a structure on this that's in maca-root that they think actually binds to the testosterone receptor and exerts effects on the testosterone effector similar to the way testosterone would. So it's actually a really, really cool thing. So this is kind of an interesting thing here. So C17 methylated compounds, oral anabolics. All that means is that the 17th carbon has a methyl group. And this makes it go through a second pass in the liver because the liver has to cleave that, pass it through a second time, and that's kind of what makes them orally bioavailable. But we're going to talk about this later when we cover another molecule that's got a similar structure as well. The next compound is tribulus. Tribulus, or tribulus terrestris, has been around forever. It's been shown time and time again to improve testosterone levels, specifically in hypogonadal men. And this is, so if you're someone who's used anabolics in the past and you're trying to get your natural production back up, and because you're hypogonadal, tribulus has been shown to do that. And so it's a really good product to have in any post-cycle therapy. The next one is the big one, is turkesterone. So turkesterone stimulates the uptake of leucine in the muscles, and it regulates an mRNA translation process. But the way it works, and so turkesterone it's a acetosterone, has a similar structure to this. It's got the base 6665 carbon structure, and then it's got some additional stuff out here. I don't remember. It's got like an amine, something like this. There's like an OH here, a hydroxy group here, something like that. But it's very similar. It's got this base core steroid structure of testosterone. And so, but the way it works is that it actually binds to the estrogen receptor, to estrogen receptor beta coding gene. And so it's still, there's a lot to be learned about it, but there's a lot of very interesting studies coming out about turkesterone. And the Joe Rogan podcast actually did one. It's something like podcast number 1856 or something, but they have a PhD on there who talks about turkesterone in pretty good detail if anyone wants to listen and learn more about it. The next product is fenugreek. Fenugreek is it increases serum and free testosterone compared to placebo, and there's many studies, but one very large study it showed that it compared to placebo increases serum testosterone and free testosterone over 12 weeks to a very statistically significant level. The other thing with fenugreek is that it actually works on insulin. It increases insulin production. Breastfeeding women, it works to increase breast milk. Bodybuilders, it works to increase the amount of insulin you get from a meal to kind of promote that, when we talked about it before, how insulin draws amino acids into the cell. The next is DIM, D-I-M. And so this is a good product to have. An interesting thing in addition is because it's an aromatase inhibitor. And so what happens is you have free testosterone in the body, or testosterone. What happens is it gets aromatized. There's I don't even remember that chemical process, an aromatic ring, I think. But it gets aromatized into estrogen. This DIM inhibits that process. So the testosterone you are producing is around more often to exert the testosterone effects. And because aromatase to estrogen is inhibited, estrogen levels will be lowered. And in men, the way to increase estrogen levels is to increase testosterone production. So you kind of get a double feedback loop there. And the next is epimedium extract. And this is kind of cool. It's been shown in clinical trials to increase sperm count. It stimulates sensory nerves and sexual desire in humans. And then in mice, it's been shown in multiple studies to increase testosterone levels. More studies will need to be done in humans, but the interesting thing is sperm count and sperm mobility, because that's one of the things that this product is actually really good for is increasing sperm count in lowered sperm count former anabolic users, I guess, which is something that's very common. A lot of people, maybe, you were a bodybuilder when you were younger, and now you're looking to have children, and you need to boost your sperm count. This product is geared directly towards that. It's got multiple ingredients. This is a big one that increases sperm count, sperm mobility, increases natural testosterone production, which is going to increase sperm count, increases FSH and LH, and then inhibits estrogen. So if you're looking to get pregnant and you are struggling due to anabolic use in the past, this is a great compound to have, and this is a great product to have. And finally, our final ingredient is L-tyrosine, an amino acid. It increases serum testosterone levels. It'll increase semen ejaculate production, and then semen quality also, which helps aid in production. But what is L-tyrosine? It's just an amino acid that's kind of the precursor for the adrenaline hormones. L-tyrosine will eventually get converted to dopamine, which will eventually get converted to epinephrine and norepinephrine. But that's also important because we talked about this SSRI, this antidepressant-based sexual dysfunction. L-tyrosine works directly against that in a different mechanism. What happens in men is the refractory period, the period after sex where you aren't able to get an erection or have no desire to get an erection and can't produce semen, is led by something called prolactin. And prolactin is basically anti-dopamine. And so, and you'll see that, so a lot of Alzheimer's or Parkinson's drugs will be dopaminergics to boost dopamine levels to fight against prolactin. Well, L-tyrosine works the same way. I keep pointing at that, I mean to point at prolactin. L-tyrosine is a dopaminergic that will fight against the rise in prolactin, which you'll also see in some anabolics, some 19 neuroanabolics, and certain things that will raise prolactin levels. L-tyrosine is a natural anti-prolactin dopaminergic that you can use that also is going to work, because prolactin is basically a death knell for testosterone production. If you have high prolactin levels, you're not going to have good testosterone levels. So this is another good product to add on top of that. And so you see we cover things from all angles. We cover things from testosterone production through luteinizing hormone, follicular stimulating hormone, fighting against sexual dysfunction related to issues peripheral to testosterone levels, whether it's serotonin or prolactin, and then the Turkesterone, which is a really, really interesting product, and it like I say, check out the Joe Rogan podcast about it, but you'll see that it's a great addition to have to this. And we'll be getting more data on some test subjects to see what their test and free test levels are before and after use, as well as their sperm count before and after, that we'll also include on the website here and in a YouTube video later on.